Hello, we are Geeks Assembled and we have gathered here once again today. And there's quite a lot of us today, and we are going to talk about Jason and the Argonauts. And we're going to jump straight in with Susan and Alex. What do you two make of this film?
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of Hera, and I really like the guy who made it. Gosh, I just got an age moment here. What's his name?
What? The guy that did the special effects?
Yeah.
The guy that produced it? Yeah, it's fine.
Anyway,
Ray Harryhausen.
Ray Harryhausen, yes, and God, that was bad. And anyway, I enjoyed the movie a lot, and I'll keep it really short because there's lots of us. Here's Alex.
And Alex is going to take up the next hour.
Yeah, no, it's never
Go ahead,
that
Alex.
long. It's never that long. Yeah, actually, this is one of the, ironically, this is one of the famous movies that they showed a lot in Boston and in Cambridge for a lot of reasons. Probably for the film school aficionados. It's a pretty good cast, great music, great production, and great special effects. And of course, they have some people from, yeah, we already mentioned it. They already have some people from Doctor Who and James Bond and a couple other famous people. And considering that this was one of the first mythology movies outside of the Hercules franchise or Colossus or whatever, and they did have Hercules, as a matter of fact, they just didn't call him Hercules. It's pretty good, and it's great that they probably could have made it a little tighter, but it was the 60s. I'm not sure if this movie was 1 million or 7 million to produce, but it's worth the money, and I'd be surprised if it didn't make back its money. And it's great that it doesn't look cheap. It doesn't look silly at all. And the creatures look great. And that's pretty good considering that they didn't have computers back then. And they certainly didn't have it in every show and in every movie. So that was pretty enjoyable.
Oh, wow. Can you shake Alex's hand for me, Susan? Just shake his hand for me. That's it. You got an Aled Williams handshake there. Let's move over to Lee Wilson in Hull.
Hello.
Not that anybody would want to move to Hull.
Yeah. It's one of these ones where I always sit down. If it's on TV, I like to sit down and watch it or bang the DVD in. It's a classic. It's in early days of the special effects with the slow motion, the stop motion animation. And for what they did back then, it's amazing. You got the Hydra in there, and the Talos, the giant bronze giant statue, what comes to life, brilliant. And you've got to thank the 1930s movie King Kong, because if it wasn't for that movie, Ray Harryhausen would never have dreamt of doing these sort of things in the movies. Greek mythology, the gods and that lot. And you can't. It's a good little yarn. Been told in other movies, you've got Clash of the Titans and stuff like that. But Jason and the Argonauts, one of the first, and it still stands up today, in my opinion. So that's my opening thoughts for now. Alid, over to you in Leicester.
Let's go to the hive of knowledge, which is Brian. Go ahead, Brian. What did you make of this film?
Turn, is it? Okay.
Did you enjoy the highlights is what I want to know.
Oh. You guys are not going to let that down go, are you? Anyway.
Nope.
But what I thought of this movie, let's see. I honestly enjoyed it. I thought it was a good entertainment film. I enjoyed every minute of it. It has the effects, the special effects that they had. It was so silly and cheesy, but it fit with the film. I honestly enjoyed it. The movie kind of reminded me of like Crash of the Titans, the old original, like I think 80s version of Crash of the Titans, and like Lee said, with King Kong and everything, like with the how they did the clay, like that. Was it like claymation or whatever with some of the effects?
Well, do you know why it reminded you of Clash of the Titans, Brian? It's because Ray Harryhausen did this same effects for that movie as well.
Oh, he did?
Yes. And Clash of the Titans was after this movie. This was before Clash of the Titans.
Fascinating. But yeah, great film. I absolutely enjoyed this film. It's one of the best. I think it's highly recommended to get on DVD to own or even Blu-ray. But it's just one of the best. I liked it. Thumbs up, double thumbs up, whatever. I loved it.
Oh, thank you for that, Brian. Let's move over to Wales and to Stephen Price. What did you make of this film, Stephen? Did you enjoy it?
I watched it when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I really enjoyed the movie. I loved the effects of the skeletons. The Patrick Troughton was in it in very good makeup. He wouldn't have, if nobody would have recognised him. You know, if we had told them it was him. Just the old film is excellent. I remember about 79, I had it on Super 8 in silent. Yeah, very good film.
Was that it? Let's move to Beef Dad. What did you make of this film, Beef Dad?
Well, it was released when I was 15, and it was one of my favourite films growing up through my teenage years, 20s, and it's still brilliant. Brilliant cast, superbly put together. I mean, yeah, when you think about it, you've got you actually got a Sherlock Holmes in there. Douglas Wilmer actually played Sherlock Holmes, and he was brilliant. As you say, Patrick Troughton, you had a doctor in there. Honor Blackman, you had an Avenger, one of the original Avengers. And Lawrence Naismith was just a superb character actor. And of course, Andrew Folds, who played Phaleris, he went on to be an MP, a Labour MP, as I recall, yes. But yeah, Michael Gwynn playing Hermes and the priest. I love the moment when the priest converts into Hermes. That is just mind blowing. It's really good. I love the story. I'd read the story for many years previously because I was into mythology. The animation, loved it. I love the animation in this. It is so good. It's incredibly smooth. Of course, Triton wasn't animated. Triton was played by a real man. And I know why. Okay, but yeah, brilliant film. Loved it.
And he's back again. He really must be insane. It's Ethan. What did you make of this film, Ethan?
Well,
thank you for that. Let's go to Harry. No, I'm only joking.
back in a straitjacket to the asylum. No. How did you know I was insane? No, I'm joking. No, this is a childhood favorite of mine. I remember watching this on TV when I was a kid. Such a nostalgic film. And like Beef Dad, I was always into Greek mythology as a kid. It was one of my favorite subjects at school. So watching this back then and again, it's such a beautifully styled film for that time. It's such a lovely fantasy adventure movie. It's one of the all-time classics. I mean, just everything from the Hydra, the skeletons, King Triton, the harpies. And it's funny. It's funny because when I was a kid, I never realized that was Patrick Troughton until later when I watched it again. I didn't even look at the cast. I just thought, that's the second Doctor. But they all played him great. Honor Blackman, who, like Beef Dad said, the original Avengers, and Pussy Galore from Goldfinger. Brilliant. She plays the part so beautifully. And it just is just such a great classic film. They did a lot of good fantasy films back then, like Clash of the Titans, and then later they did Planet of the Apes. It just really still stands up. It's just one I will still watch again and again. Yeah, loved it then, loved it now.
And let's go over to a new face here, or not a new face of the community. It's Harry. What do you make of this, Harry? Did you enjoy Jason and the Argonauts? You muted. That's it. You muted again.
I've seen Jason and the Argonauts numerous times on television. It's a great movie. Holds up. The plot line holds up well, even if the visual effects by today's standards are not the greatest. But you gotta remember, this is Ray Harryhausen work. This is miniatures in work. Stop action miniaturization, which is why it's such a great movie. You're not going for all the fancy CS color separation overlay and all the digital effects that we see today. This is classic miniature work in action. And that's why it is such a great movie. You don't have to worry about people stepping on each other's toes or anything. It may take a little time to get done, but it holds up so well. It's just a great movie. It's, again, if people have not seen it before, I tell you this. Get out there, find it, rent it, call it up on Netflix, call it up on whatever source you can, but get it. It is worth the time and the effort to see it because it is a true classic and one you can't go wrong with. Plain and simple as that. You just cannot go wrong with this movie.
So everybody likes this movie, don't they, Harry?
Indeed, it is. It's one of the greats. It's just people that think stop action's not the greatest thing in the world, but hey, it works, and that's the important thing. It doesn't matter what time period you're dealing with, as long as this stuff works. Don't knock it.
Exactly. Well, I have to say, I don't like this film. I've never liked this film. I feel really bad. I didn't know it was this loved. I always thought, well, I'm not into Greek mythology for a start. I'm not into all this Zeus and all this stuff like that. But I do have to say, I am with Harry on this and everybody else, that the effects are brilliant. I mean, the stop motion with the skeletons, with the six-headed snake thing is absolutely brilliant. The effects are brilliant, but I just don't like the story, and I think that does have to do with the fact that I don't like Greek mythology.
Hail Hydra.
Hey?
Hail Hydra.
If it was Egyptian, I'd love it. If this was Egyptian, I'd love it because I love anything ancient Egyptian. But I have to say, I recognised Patrick Troughton absolutely straight away. And he put a really good performance in. I mean, everybody else was good, but you know, that's Patrick Troughton. Come on, he's the second Doctor. I mean, he is awesome. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this film, and I'm amazed that everybody else is. I mean, I've seen it I would say twice altogether, and it's just never stuck with me. I just not keen on it. But let's go to favourite moments, because Lee's got a massive smile on his face for some reason. So Lee, share the joke with us, please.
I was just thinking when you said you're not keen on this, but I thought it went through my head. If it was a musical, you'd have loved it.
Probably, because I do like the Hercules film.
Well,
and Hercules is in this.
You've just led me into what I'm going to say.
Oh, you should not let me lead you. Now there.
I mean, I'm not knocking any of the actors or anything, but the actor who played Hercules, I can't remember his name now. It's gone out my head. He's a very famous British actor. But I think he was the wrong casting for Hercules.
Yeah, definitely.
To be honest.
Yeah, he didn't look like Hercules.
Nigel Green.
That's it, Nigel Green. He's a brilliant actor, but for me, everybody from mythology and everything, Hercules is a big guy.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to see. You know.
Well, I know you.
Oh yeah.
But
I thought Elvis was in the person.
Hey, you know, Hera was gorgeous too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they did choose a rather astonishing looking cast, and Hercules wasn't bad looking. He was pretty easy on the eyes, fellas.
Ooh, Alex is just giving a look. Alex is just giving a look.
What I'm saying is, for me, and anybody's interpretation of Hercules from the books, from literature, is a big muscular guy, but the Nigel Green wasn't. But what can you do? It's in the past now. But the only thing about this movie, what niggles me, it's the ending was a bit abrupt.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was planning to do a sequel or anything like that, because it sort of left it open, but it just sort of finished like that. I thought, oh right. The skeletons came off the cliff. He got on the boat. The end. They could have sort of finished it a lot better. But that's the only gripe I've got about that. But apart from that, I just love the effects in that are just brilliant. Over to you.
Anybody else want to jump in on favourite moments? Harry, have you got any? Or anyone else?
No real favourite moment for me. It's just to me, it was just a well done movie. Just something to just kick back, relax, enjoy watching, because it's just, like I say, Ray Harryhausen always did great work. Van was one of the greats in Hollywood's visual effects old days library. I mean, you cannot go wrong with Van's work over the years.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Anybody else favourite moments? Ethan, you got any?
Yeah, just again, as Harry said, Ray Harryhausen, stop motion genius. Every animation of that was brilliant. For me, it was always the Hydra and the skeleton moments. I mean, the skeleton moment has been used and spoofed in so many films, like Evil Dead 3. There's a video game called Medieval that does it similar, but that is just such a great scene, such a great fight. And I love the very first bit with Talius, is it? The giant? Which is the first animated.
Oh yeah, the first thing they come across, yeah.
The metal giant, that was brilliant. Nancy Kovac and the dancing girls, but that's just me. And
At least just taking a big drink of that.
Face.
He scoffed it down.
Oh, great. But no, those are pretty much my favorite moments. And again, the Hydra is such a brilliant, beautifully scene.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
Yes, Hail Hydra.
But those are pretty much my favorite scenes. and it is a
Yeah.
beautiful film. Again, that like Lee said, the ending was a bit abrupt because I watched it and it was a bit, whoa, that was a bit quick. But that's one bit, but the rest of it, brilliant. Brilliant.
Anyone else want to jump in for favourite moments? Beef Dad?
Yeah, one of my favourite moments was with the clashing rocks. I thought that was brilliant. And Triton.
Yeah.
The reason Triton was played by a human actor rather than stop motion, was because of the water droplets. Because with the figures that they use for stop motion, they're only about that big, and of course the water droplets doing something like that would look
Huge, yeah.
absolutely huge. So that was why they opted for a human actor there, and yeah, he modelled he modelled the large bronze giant, and the big thing he had in his mind while he was doing it was the Colossus of Rhodes, which is why you've got that wonderful bit where he steps over and he stands spreading across the two headlands that surround the bay. And yeah, yes, it did end very abruptly, but there was a reason for that. The reason it ended so abruptly was because they were going to make a sequel originally.
Huh?
They were going to make a sequel of The Journey Home and the final facing down between Jason and Peleus.
Well, that's a shame. That would have been good.
But the thing was, he got involved with going on with the sequels to Sinbad, and basically just got left out.
Yeah. Anybody else got any favourite moments, Stephen?
Yeah, favourite moments has got to be the skeleton scene.
Yeah.
That's what I most enjoyed.
Yeah. Anyone else?
And there's one mistake. There's one mistake made in the film where the woman puts one of the guys in the water, and he comes out, and it looks like he's just sweating. He's not exactly dripping wet.
I think it's too late to go back and change it now.
Oh yeah.
They could probably release a new Blu-ray version and add all that in now, couldn't they? Make characters look wet. You know what they can do with CGI and editing these days.
Hey,
Brian,
look what we could do with the host of our cast. He looks wet every time.
I don't know where that's going. I have no idea where you're waiting there.
Moving on.
No comment.
I just get a lot of action, unlike some. Brian, have you got any favourite moments?
This video is rated 18.
Drop the mic.
R-rated.
Brian, any favourite moments after losing shock? No favourite moments. You didn't. There was nothing in the highlights that you thought, oh, I love that bit. The highlights.
How about the bit where Jason and those guys are on the table, and all the gods are surrounding them, and they're itty bitty little guys.
Yeah.
And the gods are great big people. I thought that was fun.
Well, gods are always going to be bigger than us mere mortals, aren't they?
That's why I'm a god.
Wait, Jesus wasn't.
Alex, any favourite moments? I don't know where that goes. Oh, you do have favourite moments. I thought you didn't have any.
No. I
Go on,
have.
then.
Come on. It's me you don't You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, go on and give us your favourite moments.
My favorite, I think probably my favorite moments would probably be when, well, the first one would have to be like when Patrick Troughton shows up,
Yeah.
the second Doctor from Doctor Who. Then I think probably my other favorite moments, like when they sailing on the ship and the rocks starting to go down within the water, and they have help with the big ginormous creature and everything. And the other one would be with the like claymation creature that Jason had to go up against to get the goal.
The fleece, you mean? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hail Hydra.
It kind of looked like a kind of like a dragon, but it hits like a snake. But
Hail Hydra.
and also my last favorite moment would probably be the skeleton fight.
Yeah. Alex, any favourite moments?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the animation of the creatures is great. The animation of the skeletons is great and pretty realistic. It's probably better fight scenes than what you see in a lot of movies now. And like I said, I mean, they really did have a good structure as well. So, I mean, even though it's a little long, they didn't. It didn't take long for moving from one sequence to another. So that's another benefit.
Yeah, definitely. So, does anybody else have anything to add? Anything they want to throw in there?
Yeah, the guys that played Hercules played a soldier in Zulu.
Yes, he did. Yes, yeah. It cost them $3 million to make, and it only raked in at the box office just over 2 million, so it was a flop.
Oh, ouch! Yeah, I'm surprised about that. I thought this film would have been successful.
Well, it might be more successful on DVD, video, and stuff like that these days.
Yeah. Just not there.
Back then, it just raked in over 2 million.
And don't forget Blu-ray.
And amongst geeks now.
Hail Hydra.
Everybody's saying how wonderful the skeleton fight was. A little bit of information for you. The actual models of the skeletons are about that big. And they have joints where everybody else has joints, where normal people have joints. The joints were made of metal, look like ball and socket joints, so that they would move normally. They were made by Ray Harryhausen's father, who was an engineer, and he made them. And then to get it to look normal, although they were supposed to look like bones, the joints were covered in latex. And basically what was done is the filming of the live action was done first, and he then had to work it all out in frames per second for the skeletons, and apparently it was very difficult. It took a long time to do.
I can imagine.
But you had to have somebody chop down with a sword like that and stop, So then he had to make sure that he had a skeleton who either had a sword there or a shield there at the right time. And yeah, as I say, it was done frames per second. So it was literally done second by second by second, frame by frame by frame. Brilliant work. Absolutely brilliant work.
It must have felt undoable most of the time. I mean, flipping heck.
Yeah, would have been mentally draining as well. I hate to think of the hours that went into that.
Yeah, second by second, just like slowly moving it each time. Well, that's like what Aardman do and things like that. You know, stop motion where they just move it, you know, second by second, frame by frame. It just, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have the patience.
That's probably why it looks so smooth. It looks so smooth and fluid in the end result of the movie. I mean,
exactly, yeah.
What a wonder, just getting it so perfectly second by second.
Exactly, yeah. So does anybody else have anything to add? Otherwise, we'll go on to final say and score. And we're going to go on to final say and score. Let's go with Harry first. Harry, what's your final say and score on this film?
As I've said before, can't go wrong with Harry Harryhausen. If you like Jason the Argonauts, go out there, take a look at his other stuff. You just cannot go wrong with the man's work. I'd say it's one of the finest movies of stop animation that you'll find out there. In fact, I would recommend if you get a chance to take a look at anything that he's done in the past. So the other work, you're not going to go wrong with it.
What's your score?
I give it a 10.
10. Let's go to Alex and Susan before Alex gets lost in the land of Nod.
He's not asleep. He's watching Match Day.
He's going.
No, listen, he's watching Match Day. Well, anyway, it's for me a 10. I will enjoy this one for the long haul, and I was really glad to hear that it won the poll. By the way, thanks for voting in polls, everybody.
Can I just say, for 1 minute, Lee moved away, and I looked down at Lee's box. I thought he transformed into his cat. I just saw his cat on the chair. Let's go to Alex.
Yeah, I'd say I'd give this a 9. Like I said, I've seen it many times before, and it's great effects, and it's great that anybody can run movies and prove to have movies without 10,000 computers on it, which is very nice.
Let's go to Brian. Final say and score.
Final say and score. Final say and score. Well, this movie would probably have to be a 10 out of 10.
Oh, wow, that was quick. Let's go to Beef Dad.
With the superb animation and the wonderful performances, it's got to be a 10.
Let's go to Stephen Price.
Great film, great effects, gotta be a 10.
Oh my God, I'm going to be the villain in this. Oh no. Oh no, let's go to Ethan. Ethan, give it lower than, I would say, a 7, please, so I don't feel so bad.
Skip about it. Skip out.
Great fantasy story, great characters, beautifully fantastic animation, all-round good film. Sorry, Alid, love you a lot, but 10 out of 10.
6. Thank you, Ethan, a 6. Thank you.
10.
Let's go to Lee. I'll give his kneecap in later, don't you worry. Go ahead, Lee.
As to quote the late great singer Matt Bolan, you've got
no,
the
don't
teeth
sing.
the teeth of the Hydra upon you. From yes, they say.
Yes, Karen.
Hail Hydra.
Yeah, Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
I'm gonna give it 8.5 Hydra teeths out of 10.
All hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
You're doing a Brian with adding these things on the end. Right. So now it's me. So I'm going to be the villain of the piece, really, aren't I? Let's be honest. I'm the villain of the piece now.
It's just your choice. You're not a villain.
Oh, I am.
And we know what villain he'd love to be, but that's going up in another cast.
Yes, that's in the next cast. Yes. Yeah, this film. I'm not into Greek mythology. It's boring. I'll be honest. It's a bit boring. The special effects are good, but really you could do without any of the talking and any of the acting apart from Patrick Troughton. You could just sit there and watch the special effects. So I'm going to give it. Oh, here we go. I'm going to give it a 4.
Ooh.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Harry is unmuting himself. I am leaving the room.
I'm gonna dead.
You evil demon man.
Oh.
A 4.
You just had to be different there, Alan.
Come on, you Alan.
Hated forever now.
I'm going to give you, Alan, 1 out of 10.
Oh, very thank you very much. That's generous from you.
How could you give it a 4, man? What's wrong with you?
It's a mutiny. Anyway, tell us below how awful you thought this film was, as we thought it was, because we've all given it a 4 here today. And
how awesome it is.
Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. As I say, tell us below what you think about Jason and the Argonauts.
Hail Hydra.
Subscribe button. Look after yourself. Take care. And we will see you next time.